are holding at the Mishnah once again. We're going to do a quick 1-minute review of the Mishnah before we dive in. Everyone has their Gemarahs, pens, pencils, whatever you like. Again, I say again, for the men amongst us, if you like a pen, I'm happy to share. Okay, I tried. Says the Mishnah, someone is sleeping under a bed, Succah, inside the Succah, lo yatsa yidei chayvasai. You're not yotze your obligation. Again, the shita of the Tana Kama. Says the Gemarah, comes along Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda is going to have a lot of airtime in the coming days. Let's understand Shitas Rav Yehuda is what? Amar Rav Yehuda. What did Rav Yehuda used to do? He would sleep under the bed in front of the Zikenim, and no one said a word to him. So Tanakama says you're not allowed to sleep under the bed. Rav Yehuda says you could sleep under the bed. Omar Rav Shimon, comes along Rav Shimon. Maisa beTevi Avdoi. There's a story with Tevi, his servant Shel, Ravi Gamliel. What did Tevi used to do? He would sleep. Sheyoshin tachasamita. He would sleep under the bed. Va'amar lem Rav Gamliel Zekinim. Rav Gamliel turns to the elders and says, Re'isem Tevi Avdi. Do you see my servant Tevi? Shu Talmud Chacham. He's a wonderful Talmud Chacham, the idea, and he knows. She'avodim Peturim min HaSukkah. He knows the truth. Servants do not have to sleep in a sukkah. Lefikach, Yashin Tachas Amita, he's sleeping under the bed. Parenthetically, if he didn't have to sleep under the sukkah, so what's he doing in the sukkah? Let him go inside the comfy, warm house. He was a Talmud Chacham. So
he had to be there.
He was a slave. He was on call.
He had to be there.
He was on call. Very good. Very good. Very possibly. So very good. So Taisus over here says that, everyone was in the sukkah, and it got very tight. It was a little stuffy. So Tevi took one for the team, and he rolled under the bed. But yeah, something to think about. Ulafi darkenu lamanu, from this story we learn, if someone sleeps under the bed, he is not yotze. So basically, to boil down this Mishnah, we have a machlaikas. Are you allowed to sleep under a bed in a sukkah? We have the Tanakama that says no. We have Rav Yehuda that says yes. We have Rav Shimon, Rav Gamliel, and all the Zikanim that say, what do they all say? Yes or no? No. Very good. So who's the one opinion in the Mishnah that says you could sleep under the bed? Rav Yehuda. That you could sleep. Rav Yehuda. Says the Gemarah. Before we even look at the Gemarah, let's think about this. What's the problem with sleeping under a bed? We mentioned this yesterday. What's the problem? Chatzitza. Meaning?
Not actually on the
You're not in the sukkah. But you're in the sukkah. You're in the sukkah. Someone mentioned yesterday, so what? I kept up my covers on top of me in the sukkah?
It's like the women who are not under the schach, but they're in the sukkah.
Oh, okay, but now we're going to finally understand what's going on. So you can't put the covers on top of you in the sukkah?
Anything that's considered a roof.
Oh, very good. Anything that's considered, which you both said the same answer, very good.
Maitelka.
I thought he got it. Amen. So anything is considered a roof.
It's kidding myself that we learn slowly.
Oh yeah, I'm. You guys will know the Gemarah before I know his name, and please don't test me. Says the Gemarah, asks the Gemarah the question that we just were discussing. V'haleka asara, how tall is this bed? And the Gemarah makes an assumption out of left field that the only time something is going to be considered a roof is if the airspace underneath it is 10 tvachim. So many of us take the Gemarah's word for it and assume probably in all of halacha, how big does something have to be to consider it a roof? 10 tvachim, right? So just to point out, not something that we're going to discuss, this is odd, strange, and everyone and the grandmother, every Rishon, everyone who's ever been anyone who wrote, asks the question, what in the world is 10? Where does 10 tvachim come from? But for our purposes, the Gemarah assumes sukkah is kosher with 10, which is a very nice thought. Everyone can think about what does that have to do with. That's also the thing that makes it not sukkah. It is a nice thought, that's like Rav Shashi says, but as we're going to see, let's just appreciate that it's odd. It's odd. Leka, it's not. V'haleka, but it is not asar. It's going on the whole Mishnah. We're discussing that you're sleeping in the sukkah. Are you sleeping under the bed? Are you yaitse? Are you not yaitse? Says the Gemarah, how tall is your bed? The Gemarah assumes that only if it's going to be correct, but the Gemarah assumes that for it to be an issue, it needs to be 10, and it's not. So let's not get too bogged down, because comes along Shmuel, Tirguma Shmuel, Tirguma is from the word Targum, he translated, Shmuel heard everyone in the base measure screaming, how tall's the bed, what's going on? Shmuel says, calm down. You know what the case of the Mishnah is? B'mita asara. The case in the Mishnah is that the bed was 10 tfachim. So, what's the case of the Mishnah? The bed is 10 tfachim. Why does it have to be 10 tfachim? For what everyone said, 10 tfachim is considered, it blocks you from being in the sukkah. 10 tfachim is considered a roof. 10 tfachim is considered a separate rishos. Everything that everyone said. That's the case in the Mishnah. Now, based off of that line, yes?
In other words, if it was below 10 tefachim, everyone would be moided that it is.
Oh, very good, very good. Meaning, so now let's go back. If your covers are on top of you, is it a problem? No. Why not? Because your covers are hopefully not 10 tefachim away from you, or else they're not doing anything.
Right.
Only in
The
airspace.
thought is you have a sheet above your sukkahs. The Mishnah was you put a sheet above.
Good, and that's going to be...
There will be an issue because...
Very good. Very good. As someone here mentioned, Ramatelka mentioned, Ramanacha mentioned, that if the women are under the overhang, it's a problem. Why? Because that overhang has a 10 tefach airspace underneath it.
So this like messes up the whole mission, because how do you know in any story what the size of the...
These are all...
Maybe we would have slept underneath the
so
thing that was
Shmuel came into base medrash, and everyone's trying to figure out what happened in that story. What happened? Shmuel said it's all talking about 10. Finish, case closed. How did Shmuel know that? Where did Shmuel get that from? Is all a wonderful point, but that is what Shmuel said. But what is, if we were to think a bit deeper, why it's 10 tefachim? Let's take it. Why? As everyone said, because underneath 10 tefachim is a separate area. In the world of Torah, we call that an oyel, a tent, literally. An oyel is a halachic term that means it makes a separate area. If I'm under a tent, if I'm under an oyel, then I'm in a separate rishos. So the Gemarah now goes on a lengthy discussion, which perhaps might seem scary, but it really isn't, especially when you have beautiful pictures to look at when things get scary. That 10 tefachim, it seems like, what's the reason? Are you under the sukkah? The answer is no. Why are you not under the sukkah? Because where are you? Under the bed. Under the bed. If you look over here on page 72, page 72, beautiful picture. Page 72, Ayin Beis, is it shows you that it's a tall bed. Which, by the way, what I like from this picture, I'll be honest, is I didn't appreciate that 10 tefachim is odd. I know 10 tefachim, our brains don't talk in tefachim. Now that we see the picture, we can talk. 10 tefachim is about 40 inches, 50 inches, which is about 4 feet tall. That's a pretty tall bed. You would have a hard time climbing into there. But that is the case of the Mishnah. Good. Let's begin.
Double bed. And what do you call it?
Yeah, one of those. Only
the top part of the bunk bed.
Just the top. So that's another one. That's a very nice one. Also, I have another one of those at home. These ones they gave out. So listen, when they give you something for free, you say thank you and you use it. Let's continue. It says the Gemarah, and we're just going to start now. We're going to start a question. We're not going to even finish the question. We're just going to begin. Tanan. Tanan is a Mishnah. Tanan, ending in a nun, is a Mishnah. Tanya is a Brisa. Tanan, we learned in a Mishnah. Hasam over there. Where is over there? I don't want to tell you because it gets scary. It's somewhere in Ayhalais. What is Ayhalais? It's one of those mesechtas that when you go pay a shiva call and the guy says, you think you could take a thing? And he says, sure. And he hands you the paper and you're like,
that's the only one left.
Yeah, Ayhalais, Kinim, Zavim. I don't even know what these words mean. And you say, no, I really feel so bad. I have an emergency Hatzalah call outside. You're not part of Hatzalah. Yeah, call tough. So let's continue. Says the Gemarah, Tanana, but don't get so scared. Echad Chur. And the truth is, this is a very nice place that the picture book comes in. Because we're about to read words, and everyone is going to have no clue what the words mean, but you're going to do like I did, and you're going to write the words on top. See, I have them too. The words are in there. There you go. I don't make it up. I didn't plan this. I didn't just write it before this year, so it looks that way. This is my Gemarah. Echad Chur. But if you look at the pictures, it'll make it easier. We're just going to start reading this, and then we're going to stop. Echad Chur. Chur means it's a hollow. Shachararu mayim. That the water chiseled out. So, we can look at the picture book over here. And over here, you see, well, that's a very blurry picture. Apologies, on Zoom it didn't work. We'll send out the pictures. It's basically a cliff that the water chisels out underneath it. So now you have an area under the water, under the mountain that's created by what? The water. The running water. Echad chor. Echad is one. One is like a one, like you're writing in a third person. Echad chor, whether it's a hollow that was hollowed out by water, oy shratzim, or it was creepy crawler creatures that ate through it, oy shachlasu malachas, all it was eaten away by malachas is melech, is salt, some corrosive material, v'chein midvach avonim, or a pile of bricks, v'chein soyer shel kairos, a stack of beams. All these different cases, what's the halacha? Ma'ahil ala tama. It creates an oil over the tama. It creates it rishos. What's the one detail that we need to know? Who created all these things? Man. Not man. Water created it. Water created it. Who created all these things? Again, let's read it one more time and then we're going to stop. We're not going to even speak out what this is doing. Let's just understand the Mishnah for the Mishnah. Tomorrow we'll pick up from here and we'll understand what this has to do with what we're talking about. We'll leave it at so good. We'll figure that out in a minute. Let's just get the Mishnah. Again, echad chor. It's a hollow. Shecharu mayim was hollowed by water. Oy shiratzim, or creepy crawly creatures ate through it. Oy shachlasai malachas, or melech, corrosive material ate through it. V'chein and similar midvach avanim, a pile of stones. V'chein soyer shel kairos, a pile of beams. All these items, even though they are not created by man, are ma'ahil ala toma. They form a oyel, they form a separate entity, rishos, over toma. Rabbi Yehuda, Omer kol oyel, any tent, any area, she'enoi asui bidei adam, that was not created by man, enoi oyel. That is Rabbi Yehuda. If man did not create it, it's not considered a oyel, a halachic area. A halachic area. Let's learn 3 lines in Rashi and then we stop. And I know that everyone's wondering what in this world does this have to do with us. We're going to leave that over. You can think about it. Look at the second to last Rashi on the page. Rashi says, bidei adam, by man. Rashi says, mitkavein, you have kavana, you have intent, la'asoisoi oyel, to make it into a tent.
So even if a person does
something... Oh, very good. We'll speak it out. I want to stop because I want everyone to have about 2 minutes to quickly read through it. But what you see from Rashi, I'll say this quickly. If you don't understand it, it's fine. Even if it's man-made, but not made for the purpose of being an oyel. For example, it's made for a purpose of being a table or a bed. It's not made to be an oyel. It's made to be a table or a bed. Then it does not have the halachic implications of oyel. And now you can understand why Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah allowed you to sleep under the bed. Because it doesn't have the halachic status of oyel. The last detail could be got lost. That's perfectly fine. More important right now is let's get this Mishnah. Let's get these 4 lines of Gemarah in the next 2 minutes. Everyone can read it over with the person next to them with their chavrusa. And tomorrow we will pick it up from here. V'haleka. Take it from V'haleka, chavra.
Yeah. You want to go? Wait, 1 second. Sorry, but there isn't 10. So if there isn't 10, then it wouldn't be a problem if one of everybody.